As I have been neglecting my commitment to Doctor Who videos lately, I'll just speed through the bits and pieces I've missed. I adored the minisode Night of the Doctor with Paul McGann. I remember being 15 when the US Doctor Who aired, and actually did enjoy it despite its flaws, mainly I think because Paul McGann is a pretty awesome Doctor, as he's proven in countless audio adventures since. I was emotional about seeing the 8th Doctor again, and about what had happened to our beloved Time Lord and his universe in that gap in Doctor Who we now call the Time War. It was also wonderful to see the Sisterhood of Khan again, and for them to aid the fall of the High Council of Gallifrey actually made sense. Fans were hugely excited and wanted Moffat to write more scripts like that 7-minute vignette. I agree, it's among his best Doctor Who scripts. Come to that, why was it not simply the pre-title sequence to the Day of the Doctor? The second minisode, however, called The Last Day, came across as a game demo, was unnecessary and certainly not worth paying $2.49 for. If you paid full whack for that on the strength of the quality of the previous minisode, you were conned. Mark Gatiss' docudrama, however, An Adventure in Space and Time, will for me always be the true 50th anniversary tribute. I feel I can personally vouch it was impeccably researched, as much as beautifully written, thought-provoking and genuinely emotional. It may even be the best thing I have seen on British television for several years. I already knew that Moffat's anniversary episode could not follow that. So, The Day of the Doctor, the most anticipated television event since who knows, the most successful simulcast ever to TVs and cinemas in 94 countries, and the most tweeted subject per minute to date. And you can't accuse me of spoilers in this video as, let's face it, how can you not have seen it yet? The plot essentially boils down to a war-weary, pre-Eccleston incarnation of the Doctor, played by John Hurt, stealing the moment, a WMD equipped with its own conscience, so that it attempts to dissuade its owner from using it. Neat idea. The part is played by Billie Piper, so you thought Rose would be in it, but she isn't. How many children on Gallifrey now? The moment asks. I don't know. One day, you will count them. The Doctor was, well, is, a man prepared to wipe out billions in the name of peace and sanity, but only because there is definitely no other path. In 21st century London, a similar gambit faces Kate Stewart, but our Doctors, Tennant and Smith, are determined to help her find another way. A nice parallel, as is the scene where the 3 Doctors themselves discuss escaping a cell with their screwdrivers. It's the same software, different casing. And if Hurt Sonic starts the calculation, by the time we get to Smith's, it should be solved. So, the moment shows the War Doctor what he needed to see, and thus Doctors working together can save Gallifrey by hiding it, wiping out most of the Daleks in the process, and this, I'm afraid, is a problem for me. I really wish it weren't. Is this because of a lack of sense or breaking the rules, like changing your own timeline or a fixed point? No, I'm more flexible about that when it comes to Who. My problem is with the emotional journey and the cavalier manner in which all of this, no matter how well crafted in places, was done. Don't get me wrong, I did enjoy this special, but well, if you don't like Moffat bashing, switch off now. From 2005 onwards, we've come to know the Doctor as a war-torn anti-hero, sometimes known as the oncoming storm. But more than that, throughout the Russell T Davies era, the phrase, everything has its time and everything dies, or simply, everything dies, comes up over and over. At the end of the 2005 season, the Eccleston Doctor, having refused to accept the sacrifice the lifeboat to save the ship dilemma yet again, even accepts his fate. Wants an ending, saying, maybe it's time. Just as Tennant's Doctor would one day reflect, sometimes I think a Time Lord lives too long. In School Reunion, the Doctor is tempted with the powers of a god and the chance to bring back his own people. Pain and loss, Sarah Jane reminds us, define us every bit as much as happiness or love. Everything has its time, and everything dies. The Doctor would also thank Rose for helping him heal after his ordeal. You simply cannot take us so far down one road emotionally, and then do a sudden U-turn. Bring back Adric while you're at it. Is the Stephen Moffat edit of Earthshock with the alternative ending available yet? Anyway, the story of Doctor Who is now that of a man journeying home. We've been promised an end of childishness and silly catchphrases, and are looking forward to Peter Capaldi. Are there a lot of pros to this special? Certainly, we saw the Time War, even if it being lots of CGI meant for the cinema, in 3D no less, makes it look like every other epic sci-fi blockbuster battle scenes of recent times. We got John Hurt in some brilliant scenes dealing with real emotional and moral issues, even if, let's face it, the fact that part of what is important about real life or death decisions is that you cannot unring the bell somewhat undermines these ultimately. We had some funny scenes, mainly with the various doctors meeting, harkening back to the classic specials. "They're screwdrivers! What are you going to do, assemble a cabinet at them?" is even a joke by Moffat at his own expense. Although you also got, "Ooh, the round things, I love the round things. What are the round things?" I've no idea. That's very cute, Tennant and Smith, but they're called roundels, they're access panels, and even Tegan knew that. Some people will say that Moffat isn't a great writer. This was written very much like many science fiction movies of the time we are in. Some might say the happy ending dumbs it down and that Moffat tends to do that. But the only bad review in the mainstream papers was from the Daily Mail, and their critic showed so little understanding of the episode that it's like he never saw it. Given the millions that read the Daily Mail, and there are literally children who've logged about the episode on YouTube who did manage to grasp what happens in this, some of them critical, but they did at least comprehend what they were criticising, which is fair. It is a clear sign that Stephen Moffat is guilty of no more than not dumbing down enough. So, is there anything left to be said? A phrase maybe, perhaps just 2 words, which would be emphatically positive about this anniversary episode. 2 words which require no further explanation or examination. A mere 2 simple words. Tom Baker.